Welcome to this independent Enerthia energy briefing. Today, we are looking at the structural shift currently underway in South Africa's energy landscape. And we need to establish exactly what has changed here because the numbers are quite stark.
They are. I mean, if we look at the baseline, South Africa operates with about 40 gigawatts of installed coal capacity today.
Right.
But by 2035, those scheduled retirements will drop that capacity down to 26 gigawatts.
And while that supply side is dropping, demand is obviously going the other direction.
Okay.
So peak demand is projected to climb from 30 gigawatts up to 40 gigawatts in that same time frame.
Exactly. Which leaves us staring at a firm supply deficit of 14 gigawatts.
Yeah, up to 14 gigawatts by the mid-2030s. And for commercial operators, I mean, that is a massive void.
Well, the initial master plan actually relied on natural gas to fill that specific shortfall. The target was to get 11 gigawatts of gas to power online by 2035.
But the reality on the ground is quite different now, right? Because that gas pipeline remains largely unsecured at this point.
Yes, it is highly constrained. You have significant upstream supply issues and a lack of finalized agreements. So that 11 gigawatts is not something the market can just passively count on.
So that brings up the critical question. With coal retiring and the planned gas pipeline sitting unsecured, how do commercial operators practically bridge a 14-gigawatt void?
They have to pivot to renewables. But, and this is the key distinction, it has to be renewables firmed with batteries.
Because solar is currently the cheapest power to build, but you have the intermittency issue. The sun sets exactly when the evening peak demand hits.
Right. You have to have storage to turn that intermittent energy into firm, dispatchable power.
So instead of thinking of a battery as just an emergency backup system, it's more like a commercial synthesizer. It takes cheap intermittent generation and translates it into a predictable, firm asset.
That is exactly the right framework. It is a time-shifting mechanism. But we do have to acknowledge the market reality here.
Which is that the storage market is still in its absolute infancy.
Correct. Across the region right now, we are looking at fewer than 30 battery projects. And those are delivering just over 50 megawatt hours in total.
Wait, 50 megawatt hours? Against a 14-gigawatt deficit. I mean, that is a massive gap to close.
It is a very steep runway. However, RoMotion projects up to 700% capacity growth across Africa between 2025 and 2030.
With South Africa leading that charge, presumably.
Absolutely. And the commercial template to do this at scale already exists today. We can look at the Nous 1 project as the prime example.
Right. That is the facility near Viljoenskroon in the Free State.
Yes. The specs on Nous 1 really show the scale required. It pairs 300 megawatts of solar with a 660 megawatt-hour battery.
And that battery is supplied by Envision, built by Solar Group and WBHO.
Exactly. And importantly, it is specifically designed for wheeling.
Right. So they generate the power where the conditions are optimal and wheel it across the grid to the commercial offtakers. But, I mean, that is just one project. We need so many more to meet this structural demand.
Which brings us to the practical implications for you, the listener. If you are an offtaker, the immediate decision on your desk is whether to firm your solar with storage now, while that capacity is scarce.
And on the other side, for the EPCs, the developers, and the funders, you are looking at a massive, completely unbuilt pipeline ahead.
This is exactly where Enerthia Energy operates. To be clear on their role, Enerthia originates funding and lines up the project partners across their consultancy and development offerings.
So they are structuring the deals. They do not fund these projects from their own balance sheet.
No, they do not. Nor are they an EPC contractor doing the physical construction. They align the capital and the partners to make these utility-scale storage projects bankable.
Understood. So to wrap this up, I want to leave you with a final thought to consider.
Go ahead.
If this 14-gigawatt gap represents a permanent structural shift in the energy landscape, how will securing firmed power early dictate the commercial terms and the competitive advantage in your specific industry by 2035? Because the transition is not waiting.